Hello and welcome back to Silverstone Radio's weekly VIP interviews, where we talk with important and influential people in today's society and hear their stories firsthand. I'm your host, Jackson Halvar, and this morning we'll be talking with Huntley Haverstock. Huntley is a foreign news correspondent working for Mercury newspaper on the big war story that has been breaking overseas. So, Huntley, we've heard you were able to make the story break about the Van Mire and Fisher conspiracy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I met Van Mire before the war started. He was the Dutch ambassador, which was a very important position, especially during the times I was over there. I mean, I was just the news correspondent, and it was the day before the big conference with Fisher's peace organization. And I was headed to the first dinner at the Savoy Hotel, and the only problem was that I needed a ride. Now, when I walked down to the hotel, I saw this older gentleman with a mustache, big bushy mustache with black mustache, and he had this bowler hat on. Now, I thought to myself, I was like, oh, this guy seems a little strange, but turns out it was the Van Mire, and he asked me that time to take a ride with him in his cab over to the conference that day.
This is very kind of you, Mr. Van Mire. It's a pleasure, my boy. I dislike riding alone. One thinks too much while riding alone. Yes, exactly. The whole situation and the Dutch treaty with Belgium must be on your mind a lot these days. What do you feel, Mr. Van Mire, that England will do in case the Nazis... Oh, England is a beautiful place. London is so nice in the sunshine. Always there is some lots of rain or fog, but now it is all good. Sounds pretty good for me, but would you mind telling me about how you feel about Mr. Fisher and his peace organization? Oh, you know Mr. Fisher? Oh, very fine man. I wish to have more like him in the world just now. Well, I take it you don't have much hope for peace. I mean, you don't think one peace organization can make much headway against the war? We would like to think so. Look at those birds. No matter how big the city, there are always parks or places for the birds. Yeah. I was walking through the park this morning and I saw some people feeding the birds. It's a good sign at a time like this. Is it not? Yes, it's a dandy sign, but I do think that right now the birds are the least of our problems. Your country, for instance, what would be their attitude towards the war? Oh, and here we are at the Savoy.
That man sure did love his birds. Sometimes I would even think he would grow his own wings and fly away with the flock. But anyways, the next night of the big conference was really where things started to go wrong. I didn't realize exactly what I had gotten into until that night, and I definitely didn't realize the importance that Van Mire had in this whole big game that was going on until that night. Now, the assassin got on this getaway car that he had parked a little ways down the street, and they sped off, and then I had to practically throw one of the officials out of their car so I could catch up to them, and I followed them to the outskirts of the city where there were these abandoned buildings, and that's where they were keeping Van Mire hostage, and this was the real Van Mire that they were keeping hostage, not some fake substitute or anything like that.
Come in. Close the door, Mr. Van Mire. It isn't possible. They gave me a drug of some sort. But I saw you shot outside the conference hall just now. I saw it. They gave it to me. When they moved me from. It's beginning now. The man I saw shot was a dead image. Oh, man, you saw the shot. It wasn't me. It was a substitute. It looked like me. But why? They want the world to think that I've been assassinated. To conceal the fact that I have their hands. Their hands. Who are they? I can't explain. I certainly did. It's dark. I can hardly think. All I can tell you is that they're going to take me away by plane, like the birds. Always. There are places in the city where the birds can find crumbs, and the birds, the crumbs. Give me the pen.
Now, this is where Mr. Fisher, who is the head of this peace organization, comes into the chessboard. Now, see, all Fisher wanted was this information that Van Mire was carrying, and this would progress the war into the enemy's favor. But Fisher even went as far as hiring these thugs that were a part of the enemy side, and these thugs, they would torture and they would screw up Van Mire to try and get the info that he had. Now, Fisher, he was in kind of a weird place, though. He thought that if he helped the enemy, he would be able to save his own country during the time of the war. Well, I mean, we all know how that ended, but it turns out Fisher and his country were the ones getting played the whole time, and, the rest of the world had to pay for it afterwards.
He's not your friend, Van Mire. What was that? Someone just said you weren't my friend. Why didn't you bring the police? Why aren't you taking me away from here? You're not taking me away from here. Why? Fisher? Fisher, where are you? Help me. Help me, Fisher. Help. I see now. There is no help. For the whole poor, suffering world. You cry peace, Fisher. Peace. There is no peace. only war and death. You're a liar, Fisher. You're a cruel, cruel liar. You can do what you want with me. It's not important. But you'll never conquer them, Fisher. Little people everywhere who give crumbs to birds, lie to them, whip them, force them into war. When the beasts like you will devour each other, then the world will belong to the little people.